what does this mean for the Chiefs?
Well, I mean, the Chiefs are still, to me, they're a great football team. And I think there's a couple of things that you have to look at here. I think it's where do you value, and obviously Tyreek Hill is amazing, all the jet sweep stuff, all the slot receiver stuff that he does. He's an amazing athlete. He's an amazing football player, the returns, the whole 9 yards. But there's a philosophy in the National Football League. You don't pay slot receivers. You don't make slot receivers your number one payment as far as wide receivers. That's hallowed ground. That is reserved for the X receiver, the guy that lines up outside the numbers, single receiver side, and, the Devontae Adams of the world. So I think the Chiefs just made a decision. We are not going to pay you like an X receiver. You're a slot guy. Here's what you're going to make. And they look at it like this is just the way we're going. So I don't know, Marcellus, if they're going to change directions based on going back to more traditional style of West Coast offense, multiple tight ends, maybe two-back offense. I don't know, but they just made they drew a line in the sand and said, we are not paying a slot wide receiver. Done. We're just not going to make you the highest paid guy.
I don't think they drew a line in the sand. I think they read the line that was drawn in the sand. I didn't catch this when it was happening in real time, but after the trade went down, I started to look back and say, I should have saw this one coming. All right, the Chiefs were set up for failure because of all the dynasty talk, including Tyreek Hill. When they went out there and won one, everyone was talking about, why not more than Jordan, including Tyreek Hill, 6 or 7. So that sets you up with an expectation that is very difficult to realize, right? But as improbable as it was, now it looks impossible to ever be dynastic without Tyreek Hill. Now let's talk about that line that they're reading. You remember last year we saw Patrick Mahomes in regression, and everyone was attributed it to, defenses are going out there with 2 high safeties. And with the 2 high safeties, Patrick Mahomes was trying to force feed it. Then he realized I can't force feed it. I got to dink and dunk it. Okay. I'm going to take y'all now into what that meant to these Kansas City Chiefs going forward. We don't need Tyreek Hill. We can't use Tyreek Hill. Yeah, he had 9 touchdowns, 1,100 yards. Tyreek Hill was still effective, but what were the results? Let's go back to the Super Bowl that they lost against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Did they score a touchdown in that Super Bowl? No. And then me, who everyone calls a hater, comes out and tells the truth too early and basically tells you guys, hey, Patrick Mahomes is about to be in regression in terms of team success. And it started to happen. That Super Bowl where Tampa Bay said, you guys are not going to beat us with your plan A. And plan A is Tyreek Hill. And they didn't score a touchdown. And then the next year, stubborn as they are, didn't want to read the line that was drawn in the sand. They kept saying Tyreek Hill to success, but not dynastic success. What we're witnessing right now is a team that finally swallowed the pill that they were chewing on. It's not going to work with Tyreek Hill, man. If they want to be a dynasty, they got to figure out a different way. They got to figure out a plan B.
Yeah, the plan B is Patrick Mahomes makes his money, and Patrick Mahomes earns his money. The evolution of Patrick Mahomes, to Mark's point, they're going to have to change up how they approach things, whether it is identifying another slot receiver and Patrick Mahomes making him some semblance of what we saw from Tyreek Hill, production-wise, we're not going to get the same the same performance or the same excitement that we're going to get out of it. Or if they change their approach, again, it's going to come back to Patrick Mahomes. Now, his number is not looking quite as outrageous as it did when he first signed that 10-year deal, and that happened awfully quickly. And how much you believe whether this is the end of the Kansas City Chiefs really depends on how much you believe in Patrick Mahomes and his ability to evolve. So there's 2 things that are the result of this trade. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes has to earn his money and demonstrate that he can make up for the loss of talent, which is what you would expect from a caliber quarterback of Mahomes making. And Tyreek Hill, you kind of become irrelevant now at this point because you're going to the Miami Dolphins. This is not like Devontae Adams going to the Raiders. This is, you're going to the Miami Dolphins, at best, the 3rd best team in that division and in the AFC, which, as we know, is loaded with talent. So, Tyreek Hill, good luck. I'm glad you got paid. And I don't blame him for leaving because I don't know that he could have gotten paid with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not mad at him. But the reality is life's going to be a lot different for Tyreek Hill. He's going to have to enjoy location and the paycheck because he's not going to enjoy the same success.
That ain't all.
I think when you look at what Kansas City is doing, and I know people in Kansas City are probably freaking out about this, but one, as I mentioned earlier, we're not going to pay a slot receiver the biggest contract in NFL history, right, for the wide receiver position. I think the other thing is if you go back, and Marcellus brought up the Super Bowl a couple years ago where they scored 9 points. If you go back and you look at that game tape, basically the Tampa Bay Buccaneers said, if you want to run it down our throats, be our guest. Like, just be like it was like a Disney movie. Be our guest, right? And they refused to do that. They're going to win the way they're going to win. And I think if you look at your organization and say, hey, man, what has that gotten us? Well, it's gotten us a win in the Super Bowl, but then it's gotten us a loss in the Super Bowl and another loss in the AFC Championship game. And I think, you know, the old philosophy of we're going to win the way we want to win, I think Andy Reid is looking at that going, you know what? We've built an offensive line that is outstanding. We've invested in running backs. They went out and got another one in free agency. I think they're looking at this and saying there are more than one way to skin a cat. And I think you look at the whole kind of Mike Shanahan West Coast offense tree, and you look at 3 different coaches. Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, how does he operate it? It's 2 backs, it's 2 tight ends, it's big formations, motions, and all that stuff. Then you go to, you know, Matt LaFleur or even Sean McVay. It's the same offense, the same calls. Everything is the same except Sean McVay wants to do out of 3 wide personnel. And so you change the adjuster, you change the guy that's in motion, but there is more than one way to run that offense. And I think what Andy Reid is saying here is we need to be more versatile. And we can't put ourselves in the pigeonhole of saying there's only one way to win, and that's over the top. Because when people take it away, and they've done that over the course of the last couple of seasons, and we saw it in the Super Bowl, that's not going to lead to a world championship. That's not going to lead to a dynasty, as you put it, Marcellus.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. If you just look at the quarterback-receiver duos, like the prolific ones, the most prolific ones, there's a lot of change at the top. Number 1 is Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams with 47 touchdowns the last 4 seasons. Number 2, what we're talking about right here, Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. Say no more to those 2 combinations. And you want to know why we're saying no more to those 2 combinations? Those 2 high safeties. I mean, it's just as simple as this. I remember I had this candid conversation the first time I got to hang with Reggie Bush. He may not remember this because he was Reggie Bush at the time. And, you know, he had that huge lifestyle off the field as well. But I remember us sitting down. And Reggie wasn't talking to me over dinner, not that much. I was already doing what I do, talk versus playing. I was a broadcaster. And I was like, damn, Reggie looked like he in his feelings or something. He don't want to talk to his boy. Reggie, what's up? Man, I heard what you said about me. I said, Reggie, man, stop. I told the truth. And what I told Reggie is 2 things. 1, in football, I don't give a damn how fast you are. If I'm capable, and if I know geometry, I'm going to figure you out. And what Reggie Bush was doing was using all that 4-1, 4-2, 4-3 speed to just hit the edge. I said, man, set us up. Make us think you're going to run us over. Then you can activate that speed. Well, with Tyreek Hill, he ran his routes. He ran good routes, good enough routes with that prolific speed. But then guess what? The geometry kicked in, and the team started to figure it out. Oh, we're just going to play back. Let it all stay in front of us. How fast are you if we corral? And all of a sudden, you started to see the effect be neutralized. So now the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm going to say it right now. Once again, call me a hater, but I'm just telling y'all the truth too early. They went from first to worst in this division, just that fast, just like that. Because what separated 1 through 4 with all the new acquisitions wasn't that much. And now they went from first to worst, at least mentally, in terms of what they're going to put out on the football field. You lose a Tyreek Hill and you bring in Juju Smith-Schuster, and you think you feel better about yourself? Not going to be the same team. So I'm looking at this team now. What are they going to do? I love Slick for bringing it up. It's on you, Patrick Mahomes, money man. Well, Patrick Mahomes had more interceptions last year than he did in the 2 seasons combined before. Patrick Mahomes was in his own regression of trying to figure this out. So if I'm Tyreek Hill, I make my own decision. I go get that money. I go get that location. I go get that opportunity. And I go get an opportunity to play with a guy who's already used to dinking and dunking. Y'all talking about Patrick Mahomes in regression, trying to learn how to dink and dunk. The king of dink and dunk is Tua. Tua's like, oh, I got you, big dog. And if Tyreek Hill could give you 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns, dinking and dunking, while Patrick Mahomes feels uncomfortable, might as well go to the sunshine and feel some of that love.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to start elevating Tua where, hey, you know what? If only Patrick Mahomes had Tua's game, his
I ain't say just
I'm
that.
not going to quite. Okay. I just want to make sure we're not going there.
No.
But here's the thing. This is, when I talk about Patrick Mahomes having to evolve, we've always been, impressed with the athleticism, the foot speed, the no look, the ability to create something out of nothing, the improvisation. Where Patrick Mahomes is going to have to evolve now, and I think you both of you were saying the same thing. We're not going to ground and pound. There's still going to be a passing game here, but he's going to have to be more of a technician. It's going to have to be more shrewd decision-making and seeing what his options are underneath rather than just making that big dynamic play, that home run play all the time to pull them out of the fire. That's where Patrick Mahomes is going to have to evolve. And I'm just a believer that for all of the dynamic plays that he's made and all the athleticism that he has, Patrick Mahomes has impressed me as a worker. And so I'm not convinced that he can't become that kind of efficient technician in the pocket delivering what they need. But that is definitely where he's going to have to go for this iteration of the Kansas City Chiefs to work. Look, the going rate for quarterbacks is going to continue to go up, and his contract is going to look less and less ominous as we go. But it's still a big chunk, and he's still going to have to deliver on it.
Yeah, now you're being nice to him. Look, I played football because I didn't want to be nice. I grew up with no brothers, so I never had anywhere to put this aggression. On the football fields where I could go give you hell and then shake your hand after it. Right now it's time to give real analysis. They're losing firepower while other teams are loading up. Let's just be real about that. This is really a bad situation in terms of how they're going to play it. The defense was already messed up last year. Let's remember, 27th ranked defense. No Tyrann Mathieu looks like right now. At least he's floating in free agency. So Tyreek Hill is just look, defense, man, they ain't helping us out. Last year, you were your worst version of you, Patrick Mahomes. I know you're going to respond. I know you're going to rebound. Look around us, man. This formula is not working. And then it's funny that the narrative is always sold to everyone. Chase the championship. True. But outside of that, there are 31 teams who won't get a championship. So now if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, should you feel good if you're Tyreek Hill and the Chiefs? Oh, we got closer than the Dolphins? Hell no, because you're all sitting there with a frown. 31 losers, 1 winner. And I think they try to sell them on that one more time. But the dynasty that never was is now over. Remember, this is the same team that was like the Seattle Seahawks. When the Seattle Seahawks lost in the divisional round, won the Super Bowl, lost the Super Bowl to Tom Brady, and lost in the divisional round. Well, the Chiefs just pulled that off basically with a little more sugar on it. They were losing in the AFC Championship game, set it in the divisional round. You feel better about that? Obviously, Tyreek Hill didn't.